Greetings and salutations, and I'm back with some Ashes of Creation. Now, I had initially intended um to show the other starting zone because half of the people started out in the Sand Squall Desert, and I was hoping that it was going to show that starting zone, but apparently they've taken that starting zone out or limited it or something right now, and this is the fighter. I made a Vek fighter, which they're mostly akin to orcs. You could probably see that they look rather orcish or trollish, almost in like the Tolkien sense, or in any fantasy anime or any fantasy RPG. But I wanted to see how the fighter is now that I know that I have weapon skills and everything I could do, and because that's the one thing that I didn't do when playing the fighter, and so I kind of gave it like an unfair shake the last time. I thought, maybe the fighters aren't so good. Well, maybe I was too harsh on them. I'm not sure. So I'm back and I'm playing the fighter here, and all right, that went better than I could have anticipated. I wonder if they can actually do that with a sword and board. See if that would make it better. They can. Okay, well that didn't help. I blocked and it only reduced the damage taken by 1. Really? Is it worth blocking at that point? You're almost better off rolling. If you can manage it. I've often thought about changing my roll to E instead. I was really looking forward to the other starting zone. When I first started playing this, I did start in the other starting zone because I made I think it's the Valar. I could be wrong on the race name, but I believe it was the Valar. It's the other they're the other human like, but they're out there in the desert. But when I made one of those earlier, it appeared in the same starting zone. So I don't know why they're only putting everybody in Lion's Hold. Not sure. Maybe they're redoing the other starting zone. I haven't checked. I haven't looked on any of the forums or anything. But yeah, I thought, you know what? I'm going to give the fighter another shake and see if it's better than it used to be. The one I first tried it. And as you can see, I named it Mediocrities. Because if you're going to name it, might as well name it after like a very mediocre like gladiator. Just grab the typical ones we do. See, it's the Skackles, Darkening Skies. You know what? I'm going to do Lay of the Land too. And of course, they want me to chop the trees and do the blocks. Because they want you to get the horse. Which I understand that. Like, I'm glad that they actually do that and say, hey, look, you're looking to get a trade skill, etc., because then it leads you to the horse. Which, yeah, it's not the greatest mounted speed out there, but better than walking. Now, when I played in the other starting zone, I did not know where to go to get all the stuff, and I didn't know where to go to do the trade skills or anything. It was way different. But I only got to play on that for maybe a week. If that. It's like a week and a half. But when I remade when I made my rogue, it put me on this side near Lion's Hold. So I was like, you know what? I kind of like this side, but at the same time, I was really hoping to show you the Sand Squall Desert starting zone. And I'm hoping they bring that back because having half these people start in a different starting zone would make it less crowded and you won't have to fight over as many resources. Again, I don't know why they did what they did. I'm sure they have a reasoning for it. And who knows? Maybe they'll bring out the next zone. Maybe they'll bring out the other starting zone again. A revised version of it. I hope, because it's one of those things that it's nice to have, right? It's nice to have that almost, I can't say differentiation, but change of locale. And obviously, for the fact that you're not going to be fighting over resources, it divides that by 2. I'm also looking forward to the Summoner class. So when that comes out, I'll definitely be making a video about the Summoner class. From what I've heard so far... Oh wait, I didn't make the blocks. Because I'm a fool. Because I got caught up talking about the Summoner class. From what I've heard, you're only allowed 1 summon per, at a time. And so, the 1 summon you're allowed is either a tank, a DPS, or a healer. Now, when I made the rogue, I had just gotten done. I'll be 100% straight up on this. I had just gotten done watching Solo Leveling, 2nd season, right? When I started playing this. And I thought to myself, man, a rogue that could summon something like a tank to draw a threat so that I can sneak up behind it and stab it in the back, that'd be cool. So I was sitting there thinking rogue into summoner would be a great thing, because then it covers the weakness that you would have as a rogue, which is, you're going to need someone to stand in front of you. It would be like a tank that can also summon a healer. And that kind of covers your bases on the weakness. Now, obviously, you're obviously still going to be weak on certain things.
Got the powder, have you?
Oh, right, I didn't make the, I'm forgetting to do a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, it would cover a lot of your weaknesses, kind of like if you were to play a bard tank. Like, they claim that you're not going to get the access to all the tanking spells as well as all the bard spells. They say that the ones you do get are going to blend with the abilities you already have, and they're going to enhance the abilities you already have. Or at least, that's what I heard. Now, how would that work if you really think about it? Let's say you are playing a rogue, or a fighter in this instance. Let's say we're playing a fighter, and you get your fighter skills, like Overpower, that I have here. However, let's say you choose Cleric as your secondary class. Does that mean your Overpower can now heal all allies caught in the arc? Is that how they're doing it? Does it change it to holy damage? There was no real clarification on it. They made some, like, vague... This was stated on their Discord. Because I was having my... recently, like when I was talking about the whole WoW retirement thing, my mother also retired at the same time from WoW. She had played for about 19 years, 20 years. And so she retired at the same time I did. She hasn't been back on to play it at all. Neither have I. I uninstalled that night. But... Which that was, I tell you, that was a trip, because we had just dealt with a minor flood, and I had to do that video that day. It was crazy. But nevertheless, she tried this, and she kind of was looking at this game with extreme interest. And when she saw how this game was going, and she saw how it was progressing and everything, she's like, wow, this game actually looks pretty good. She thought, maybe I can play it, maybe I can't. She was tinkering around with it, and she found out that she does like it, and she can play it. But she also was like, she she joined their Discord and was talking, not talking to the people, but she was reading a lot of what they were saying, and she was saying like, you know, hey, they're saying that, you know, it's gonna be like this where you can. Oh, that's a level 3 Grem. No wonder I'm getting absolutely hammered. And I'm dead. Almost had him. But no, she was kind of interested in the game and how it was. I forgot to set my new waypoint. Because I told her, I said, you know, in this game, the professions and everything, and we were talking about that. But then she started reading the Discord, and that's where she heard the information about it's going to supposedly increase your, or it's going to be kind of like blending with your abilities that you choose from your first class. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work. But that's where she read it. And I thought, well, okay, it would be interesting if it does work that way, where you go fighter into cleric and your overpower heals everybody in the arc in addition to doing damage. Okay, that's kind of cool. It doesn't take away from you being a fighter. It still gives you that fighter look and feel, but it at least brings utility to your abilities. I don't think it would be overpowered to have 2 classes worth of abilities. I just think that if you have a secondary class, that it would be less powerful. Like, so if you chose cleric second or bard second, your abilities should be less powerful than if somebody took it as a primary class. You're more of a secondary support role, which would fit with the overall look and feel I think that they're going for. Again, none of this is verified. I don't know. We're just going off of some vague statements that were made on the Ashes of Creation Discord. Webweaver. Whoever aggroed that's dragging it back to town. But no, it's I'm very excited for the game. Truly. I enjoy playing it immensely. Even though my ranger did get into a bit of a bind and I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for. I like the idea of it. Obviously, it's got a long way to go. But when it gets there, I feel like it's going to do... I think it's going to be really a good... I think it's going to be a good game. But that's me. Others might not think so. I like it. These things look like Stitch. They do. They look like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. I'll say it right now. Fighters could use... Maybe they get something in their tree. I didn't look. And there's a weapon tree. Deadly Finisher Bleed, Deadly Finisher Wound. Let's see. Applies bleeding to targets hit. Deadly Finisher applies a wounded. Reduces healing received. That doesn't really help me. I'll go with Bleed. Let's see what they get. They get Blitz. They might be able to get Lethal Blow or Brutal Cleave or something. Staggered. Applies another stack of Snared. for a wide sweeping attack. This ability shares a cooldown with Overpower, and hitting an enemy with a weapon combo finisher refreshes its cooldown. Okay, cool. That's an additional damage based on the target's missing health. Chance to critically hit increased by 15% against bleeding targets, doubled against hemorrhaging targets. Okay, so the whole idea would be to make them bleed, hit them with a lethal blow, laugh at their corpse. Sounds like a winner. At least that's what I gathered from it. Just gonna point out that maybe the fighter's momentum ability that he's supposed to gain, generate 1 combat momentum when hitting targets, weapon combo finishers generate 3 combat momentum, plus an additional 1 per 10 the caster already has. A little bit of an idea here. Instead of putting your weapon proc in your thing, where it says applies bleeding or whatever, have it apply extra combat momentum. That way, I mean, like I don't think I've struggled with anyone as much as I have with the fighter so far. Rangers could come out and just absolutely dump on everybody. Clerics can just come out and dump on everybody. The only one that can't seems to be fighters, which seems kind of counterintuitive, doesn't it? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. We're going for lethal blow here, because I get the feeling that that's going to be absolutely bonkers. I mean, it does less than Overpower, for sure, but... Okay, lethal blow makes things a little better. A little better. And they're not the greatest, but it's... What are they doing out here? They're level 11s. These things are 1s. What are you doing? I mean, maybe they're doing it just for the whole extra bonus honor, or not honor, but experience from doing the whatever there, the board. The lethal blow does make it a lot easier. I will give you that. 100%. I still think rogues have it easiest. You can stealth, like, infinitely. You're always able to get the first hit. You're able to just walk up and destroy the mob you're fighting. It's kind of crazy. Oh, okay. So the lethal blow that I just did there did not work. That tracks. Maybe I should pick up Charge as my next ability. Blitz. Same thing. It charges to the target. Does damage on the arrival. I should probably do that. Just like Charge, Overpower, Lethal Blow. And just start blowing things up. Lunging Assault. Rupture and Maim. The recently tripped targets. Okay, so you... That's tripped, not... Did they have anything to trip the target? They're snaring. I kind of like their forms that they have, though, because if you look at it, it's really interesting. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go with blocking, because I think I can block with a two-hander. Yeah, you can block with a two-hander. Okay. Oops. Well, we might as well. Oh, that's a lot of ravens. I was gonna make the joke, say something like, "Oh, that's so Raven," but I don't know if anybody would have gotten exactly what I was saying. But yeah, I think that rogues have a higher initial starting power because of the ability that you get stealth so early. Your stab ability becomes basically a guaranteed critical strike while attacking from stealth. And if you're behind the target, you get a bonus. It's just kind of insane, really. These wolves do not count. So that's helpful. Not once has my weapon proc for bleeding applied. Overpower does. That was well played. Could have been much worse. I think it seems a little bit better now that I have Lethal Blow, honestly. Maybe that should be the first thing you get instead of Overpower. Maybe Overpower should be like a choice. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's the key. Just switch things up a little bit and get it so that people actually have an easier way to start out the game. Nothing too extreme, just something that gives you a little bit more killing power in the beginning, because when you come out here, it's kind of tough sledding, you know? We're going to grab Blitz. We're going to put Blitz at number 1, Overpower at 2. There we go. And because we did this, we'll increase the application of Deadly Finisher, and we'll grab the extra blocking one. Don't know if it's going to work or not, but yeah, that's kind of a very strong combo. Being able to blitz in there and then hit the lethal blow, that's kind of like, that's a devious name too. Naming your character My Loot, that when you see his bag on the ground, it says My Loot, even though it's not your loot. It's kind of devious. Because when you loot somebody else's loot, it labels you a criminal, and then people could come and kill you and then loot your body and take gear. Yep. Kind of a dirty way of doing things, but I'll be honest, it's kind of cool too. And if you don't mind blowing up your entire mana, you could just completely annihilate wolves in 3 hits like that. Fighters aren't bad from what I can see. Like they're still not very strong in my opinion. I mean, like if I had to compare it to other classes that I've played in other MMOs, like playing the warrior monk for example, in original Guild Wars, that thing was insanely strong. This feels less powerful. Than other warrior class archetypes. Maybe it's just me. Maybe that's how it feels. If I had to make a launch class tomorrow without seeing the summoner, I think the summoner is going to change the whole ball game. I think when I get to see the summoner, I'm going to be like, wait a minute, you might be onto something here. Close. I think when I get to see the summoner, it's going to be a big difference. But if I had to make a class, say tomorrow, still probably rogue. Close second would be bard. I mean, just the bard is just a lot of fun to play. You wouldn't think he would be because of you see like, oh, it's a bard, it's a singer, he's gonna yodel. Okay, yeah, but at the same time, they're insanely good. This is not the people I need, is it? Nope, I didn't grab that one. Well, I feel foolish. I don't know what it requires. I don't know what it entails when your mount dies. I don't know if you have to wait for your mount to heal. I don't know. I know that your mount has health. Your mount has its own separate health, which would make things rather interesting. Considering if it's anything like Archeage, which is what I'm kind of going off of, because it's got the same look and feel and vibe to it. If it's anything like Archeage, you're probably going to have to resummon your mount. Or you might have to go and get it repaired or revived because it's a horse. And yes, there are naval vessels in Ashes of Creation. So there will be open seas combat. So there will be pirates. And I fully expect that you will see a whole bunch of open world piracy. I will also expect to see a whole bunch of like open world, just downright skullduggery. So if you like being one of those people that's a ne'er-do-well, Yeah. Might be worth to play. You know what I mean? Wait, where is it? Raven South and Lionhold. No. Griffins and Griffin's Roost. You know what? We're gonna grab those. Huh. They don't have the one for killing the people at the lumber mill there. The lumber camp. Which is weird. I don't use my mount enough. I really don't. Oh, you can call it while you're moving. Thought you had to sit still. Interesting. I didn't know that you could do that. I thought you had to sit still the whole time that happened. Apparently not. Alright. I like it. I can dig it. Now, I wonder if they're going to have some sort of, like, mounted combat. Ashes of Creation people, if you're out there and you can hear me, or if people can get this to people, having abilities you can cast from horseback, think about it. Talk about changing the face of warfare, man. That'd do it.
Have you attuned? Excellent. Let it be known
You
that
would have...
we struggle to maintain our...
You would have some seriously interesting stuff. Like, if you could just attack from horseback, you just hit Q and you could just auto-attack. That'd be great. You're using a two-handed weapon. You grab the reins with one hand. You grab the one-handed... You grab the two-handed weapon with one hand and just kind of big swing. Telling you. It's worth thinking about. Because you already have player collision, right? So, like, you can't walk through another player. Which is going to already make... It's already going to make combat much better when you have player collision. Now, you'll have the proponents, you'll have the people saying, well, wait a minute. How does that make player collision better? Or how does that make combat better? Well, quite simple. When you have player collision, it basically says that you run into the enemy and you can't pass through them. Or even you run into the allies, you can't pass through them. So you don't have player collision on allies. But if you could, or just player collision in PvP, it'd be huge. Because then you could actually make things like a phalanx maneuver, a Sheltron. You could have people in a defensive formation watching out for the enemy. And having that defensive formation would be massive. Let's think about it. Like, let's say you're escorting a caravan, right? The caravan's there, it's running, and you're walking alongside of it with your weaponry. Okay. Alright, that was a little fast. That guy killed that really fast. But you're walking along the caravan, right? And there you go. You're walking alongside the caravan, and all of a sudden, you know, you get attacked by an enemy. and then you tell your, your guild or whatever that's running the caravan, you're on audio comms, and you say, like, defensive formations. Okay, you take a defensive formation and make it like an actual shield wall against the enemy players. Well, now the enemy players have to play around this actual physical barricade, while keeping in mind that they too could be flanked by scouts and other rogues. It would add a dimension to the warfare. I mean, I'm just trying to come up with things that, if you were to ask me, I've not seen it fail before. Like, I've not seen combat, like, player combat and player collision be a bad thing. Like, if you have, like, allied collision being turned off so you can pass through people so they can't blockade mailboxes or auction halls or certain resources, that's one thing, right? You're in a village and they can't blockade it now. Everybody remembers back to the old Club Penguin days, where they created a player blockade of the pool. Okay, I stand corrected about the fighter being frail. Wow. I just killed 2 Gravelhide Seers, and then another Goblin. That's insane. Ooh, Copper Hoop Earrings. Critical chance rating. Yes, please. And I do like how that's indicated, too. Like, it shows up and says it's flashing like, oh, hey, this thing. Lethal blow returns 50% of overkill damage, Delta's health and mana. Ooh, I like that. Lethal blow resets the cooldown of Blitz. I like that, too. We're gonna go with this one. That's kind of cool. A little bit over my head. Oh. Jousted him. Okay, the fighter's kind of good. It's not the best, but far cry from what I did before. Very far cry from what I did before. Yo. Clerics are bonkers. A lot of classes are completely bonkers in this game. I mean, I see where they're trying to make some efforts of having self-sustain, because you don't want your characters to not have any sustain whatsoever. So like, there's a proper way of doing it and sustaining life, and then not doing it properly. Like, the way they're doing it with the fighter, that if you get overkill with a lethal blow, it gives you that sustain. That's good. That's good design, right? Because then it basically says up here in your head, you know, do you want to risk pushing their life too low and having a bleed kill them, or do you want to get it just low enough so that your lethal blow gets you some payback so that you have your mana back, or do you want to, you know, go for the complete, like, endorphin rush, monkey brain override, push it to the limit, and then get the maximum lethal blow on it? It really likes to play on that system of, like, risk reward. It's good to have that as like a way of having your character have sustain and making it your choice, not just a here's a flat, you get this because of reasons, like with Victory Rush in World of Warcraft, or there was one in Ion that I believe it was an Ion. There was an ability that's like, after killing a target, your next attack heals you for like 23%. It was a weird, I can't remember the name of the class. It's been so long since I played Ion. But they had something very similar to Victory Rush. But it was just, it was procced after every single thing. So it rewarded you regardless of how you played your character. And it's like, okay, what if you played your character suboptimally? You know, it should punish you for playing it suboptimally. As weird as that sounds. Yeah, see right there. I could have waited and actually got the kill afterward and made it a little bit better for me to play. But at the same time, they died from the bleed and I couldn't get I couldn't get the actual kill and get the health from it. Oh, I've been playing this for 43 minutes. Where's the dead guard? There it is. There's a record of Kayla. An old strip of leather. That's the one thing that, like, I've noticed too. Not the weapon thing. Not the skill book. What am I doing? In here. Quest items. Goblin Ooznog. 8 of 100. Okay, well, what happens when you get 100 of them? Like, they don't explain what happens when you get 100 of them. They're like, there's... It doesn't say, you know, requirement of or anything like that. It's like, You know, are they worth keeping? Do you throw them away? I also like the fact that you can blitz while standing on top of them. That is quite good. Because being able to use a charge type ability while being on top of them makes a lot of sense. I mean, they'd be like, oh, well, you can't, you know, you can't charge while you're on top of somebody. Well, not true. You could do a shoulder charge where you're standing next to somebody and you lower your shoulder and drive into them with it. That's still technically a charge, even though you didn't move anywhere. Bone Duster. Not gonna ask. Not gonna ask where they got the name from. I'll refrain. It's a little weird, that's all. Fire awaits the bones of the fallen. Interesting. I need to locate the gates of Warhelm, which is Lyneth Hall, the pools of Persea. Griffin's Nest. Where's the rest of the quest for Boneyard Brigade? Okay. Off to see the wizard, I guess. I've been playing this for 48 minutes, and it does not feel like 48 minutes. I will say that right now. And that's something that I will agree with a lot of people who have played this game. They have said you just get lost in the game. They said it's kind of like an isekai, and you just get drawn in, and you just kind of get lost in this entire world. I mean, that in the game looks good. You just look at it, it looks well made. The assets look well made. It's got nice shadows. Like, you can almost see yourself kind of like up against the wall, waiting for your allies, looking around, and just having a good, almost like an RPG-esque look and feel to it, you know? I don't know. I've never been a big, like, Dungeons and Dragons guy, but, the fact that you can have that Dungeons and Dragons feel like you wait at the tavern for your allies to show up. I don't know, it feels like that's exactly what they're going for, and it's almost like that's exactly what they're getting. So I have to find the record of Scout Bram. There's the record of Scout Bram. Recover the record of Scout Sundra. That's over there in the Boneyard Brigade. Over there in the pools. Help Corvids in the killing fields. Gravehide Tin Flinger. Or Tin Finger. Wow, did I read that wrong? Bone Dunker. That's not a good name. That's not. There's the record of Scout Sundra. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Found the gates of Warhelm over there. Wait a minute. The... Oof. Anyway, here I am thinking I could take the dude. I can't. But anyhow, I kind of like the fighter. I don't think it's... I still don't think it's as good as it could be. I think that there's... I think it could use a little work, personally. Obviously, you know, dying to that named elite there... Well, he wasn't named, but he had 2-star. He was a 2-star elite, which makes him pretty hard to kill. You know, it is what it is. I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. By what I was saying before I got sidetracked there. No. It's gone now. Such is the unedited lifestyle, I guess. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I really do like this game a lot. And I do want to play it more and more. But there is one issue that I have with it. And that is, if I play it as much as I want to, I get the feeling that I'm going to burn out on it. And I don't want to do that. Right? I want to play the classes. I want to show the classes to you, the audience. But I don't want to burn out on it either. So yes, it is me doing the, the common early quests and everything. And this one would kind of failed because I was hoping to get to see the other starting area, which I'm guessing they're reconfiguring and redoing. But that is what it is. The next video of Ashes of Creation that I'm going to do, I'm probably going to continue on to the Mage. I'm still settled on the Rogue. I still say Rogue, Bard, for me, for fun to play. Rogue, Bard, followed by Mage. Fighter's pretty fun to play, but it takes 3 to 4 levels, almost 5 levels, to kind of feel that the beginning of that payoff of like you want to kind of play it, but I don't know. Maybe they could redo some of the stuff, like add lethal blow in the beginning, make overpower a different ability later on, or just put it so that it's 1 point in or something. I don't know, because lethal blows feel so much more satisfying and easier to kill the initial mobs to get you started on the adventure. Whereas you feel like you're struggling from 1 to 2, and then when you get to 2 and you go with lethal blow, your power jump is astronomically high, and then it just kind of plateaus off a bit, and then obviously it'll probably jump again. But lethal blow for sure is gonna be the bread and butter leveling ability. Unless you're leveling in a group and you can whirlwind things down and you have a cleric or somebody healing you. At which point, yeah, you might want to go like whirlwind. But even then, lethal blow, you're going to want to have it in your rotation. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I plan on doing the tank, so I can kind of showcase the tank, at least the beginning parts of the tank. I may get to like level 3 or level 4 with the tank, and then showcase it. I might do that off camera, or I might just do it on here. He's a dwarf. I made him a Dunir, just so I could play all the races. The only one I haven't made yet is a Valar, I believe. Because this is a Vec. I think Valar is the only one I haven't made yet. And I will do a Valar Cleric so that you guys can see that as well. I enjoy this. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy showing, yes, it is repeatedly the same beginning quests. But it kind of shows the start of the game and how the classes play in the start of the game. Kind of like what to expect if you were to pick up the game tomorrow. Right? If you were able to go and buy into, because you have to like buy into the whole early access and the alpha and everything like that. Once the game comes out, it'll be out. But I'm saying you obviously have to buy in with the thing. But you can see that their money is actually going to a worthwhile product. I mean, just tell by the world map, and this is just a fraction of it for now, because they still got more that they're working on, which is way out here and in the undiscovered zones. Yeah, so there's a lot more of the world they're working on. This is just the initial starting areas. Yeah, so this game's going to be massive. So the money's not going to waste. Like I said, this started ages ago, like I think 8 years ago, 9 years ago now. They started working on it, and they've put a lot of time into it to make the world feel colossal. So you can see where the money's not wasted. They've got a long ways to go, for sure, but it feels good. It feels good to play. It runs on what is essentially a potato. You know, I got a 2080 Ti, and it's running on here decently, and I'm recording it. So I'm double dipping into my GPU, and it still records it like a champ. So it'll run on essentially a potato, and it's worth it. So if you ask me, like if you were to get in and play it, this allows you to see what you can expect getting into the game straight away. But I hope you enjoyed the video, because I did. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.